Have you ever asked yourself why the more you help certain people, the more drained, exhausted, or even betrayed you feel? It's not just a coincidence. It's a fundamental truth about human nature, one that Stoic philosophers have warned us about for centuries. Welcome to True Stoic Mindset. We live in a world that constantly glorifies kindness, charity, and selflessness. You're told to always help others, to be there for everyone. But Stoicism offers a different, sharper lens, one that slices through emotional noise and shows us the truth. Helping the wrong people can quietly destroy your life. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." His words carry a hidden warning: stop obsessing over appearing good. Start focusing on being good, wisely and rationally. Stoicism is not against compassion, but it demands that every action comes from reason, not impulse. Helping others is only virtuous when it aligns with wisdom and self-preservation. Blind compassion is not only dangerous, it's foolish. This video will take you deep into the hidden dangers of helping the wrong people. You'll see how Stoic mindset can shield you from emotional traps that most people fall into. Why does helping certain people ruin your life? Because they refuse to change. They don't want help to grow, they want help to stay comfortable in their dysfunction. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others' choices. Epictetus famously said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." The Stoic approach is clear: help others when it's wise, but never at the expense of your peace. This isn't just Stoic wisdom, modern psychology backs it too. Studies show that chronic people-pleasers and those who overextend themselves often suffer from emotional burnout and anxiety disorders. When you continually help people who take advantage of you, your brain releases stress hormones like cortisol, leading to exhaustion, weakened immune function, and depression. In short, when you help the wrong people, you're not being kind. You're harming yourself, mentally, emotionally, and physically. This is the Stoic truth no one tells you. Today, we'll expose why Stoicism warns against helping the wrong people. The 5 clear signs you must recognize to protect your peace. The hidden emotional and scientific consequences of ignoring this rule. And most importantly, the Stoic way to help others without ever losing yourself. By the end of this video, you'll understand that true kindness isn't about saving everyone. It's about saving yourself first, so you can wisely serve those truly ready for help. Let's begin. Stoic core principle: helping others is a double-edged sword. Let's go deeper. The Stoics were never against helping others. In fact, they believed in justice, duty, and community. But they had a sharp warning. Helping others can backfire hard. In Stoicism, self-reliance is sacred. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, repeatedly reminds himself that every person must stand on their own. He writes, "A man must stand erect, not be kept erect by others." Why is this so important? Because when you help others at the wrong time or in the wrong way, you don't strengthen them, you cripple them. Imagine this: someone is drowning. You jump into the water without knowing how to swim well yourself. Both of you start to sink. This isn't just a metaphor. In real-life rescue training, professionals are taught not to approach a panicked drowning person recklessly. Why? Because that person can drag you down with them in blind desperation. Stoicism applies this exact principle to emotional and social help. You can't save someone who refuses to save themselves. You can't pour your energy into someone who refuses to change. This isn't cruelty. It's clarity. Stoicism teaches that every person must carry their own burden. Helping someone isn't about fixing their life for them, It's about providing tools for them to fix it themselves. Otherwise, you become their crutch, their excuse, their emotional dumping ground. Here's the dangerous trap many people fall into. You think you're being virtuous by always saying yes, by always helping. But deep down, part of you hopes for something in return: gratitude, loyalty, appreciation. This, according to Stoicism, is not virtue. It's emotional bargaining masked as kindness. Epictetus said it bluntly: if you want to be respected by others, learn to respect yourself. Helping others while secretly expecting anything back, whether respect, praise, or recognition, sets you up for deep disappointment and resentment. This leads to another critical Stoic teaching. Never act from emotional impulse. Always act from rational judgment. Helping others should never be an emotional reflex. Instead, ask yourself, is this help within my control? Will this help actually empower them, or just prolong their suffering? Am I doing this out of wisdom or out of guilt? Stoics call this using reason as the ruler of your life. Emotion can cloud your clarity. Compassion itself isn't bad, but unexamined compassion can become destructive. Here's the harsh truth. Some people are addicted to being saved. They don't want solutions. They want comfort, attention, or control. By continually helping them, you're not solving their problem, you're feeding it. You become trapped in a cycle where they depend on your energy while refusing to grow themselves. Modern science confirms this ancient wisdom. Studies on codependency show that overhelping others, especially those who chronically refuse responsibility, leads to emotional exhaustion, anxiety, and even depression in the helper. You lose sleep, feel guilt when you don't help, and constantly worry about others' problems. This isn't noble. It's self-harm. Stoicism, once again, shows the way out. Help only when it aligns with reason. Help only when it promotes self-reliance, not dependency. Help only when it does not cost your peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. True help begins within. You cannot lift others while you are drowning yourself. This is why Stoicism calls helping others a double-edged sword. When done wisely, it strengthens both you and others. When done blindly, it cuts both ways, draining you while enabling others' weakness. In the next section, we'll uncover 5 specific types of people Stoics warn you must never help, no matter how tempting it feels. Prepare yourself. The truth might sting. 5 signs of people you must not help. Deep Stoic analysis. 1. Chronic blamers. The people who never take responsibility. Let's start with the first and perhaps the most exhausting type of person Stoics warn us about: chronic blamers. Those who never take responsibility for anything in their lives. These people live by a simple but destructive rule. It's always someone else's fault. Their job fails? It's their boss's fault. Their relationships break down? Their partner was toxic. Their finances collapse? The economy is to blame. No matter what happens, they see themselves as innocent victims of external forces. Stoicism holds no space for this mindset. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the core of Stoic philosophy. The only thing you truly control is your mind, your attitude, and your response. Everything else, what people do, what happens in the world, is beyond your grasp. When someone refuses to accept this truth, they become trapped in a cycle of self-pity, anger, and helplessness. Worse, they pull others into their spiral. Here's the hidden danger. You think you're helping them by listening, offering solutions, or even fixing their problems. But all you're doing is giving them more ammunition to keep blaming others. You become their emotional trash bin. And each time they vent to you, their belief that the world is against me grows stronger. Psychologists call this an external locus of control, a belief that life is controlled entirely by outside forces. Research shows that people with this mindset are more likely to experience anxiety, depression, and poor decision-making. And here's where Stoicism offers clarity. Helping a chronic blamer only deepens their dependency on external validation. It teaches them nothing about self-mastery or responsibility. Epictetus said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." In other words, blaming others is not caused by events, it's a choice of perspective. If you try to help a chronic blamer, you'll soon realize they reject every solution. They twist every advice into another complaint. They drain your energy, leaving you frustrated and powerless. The Stoic solution is clear. Stop trying to fix them. Let them face their own reflection. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Your duty isn't to change them. It's to protect your peace, and lead by quiet example." When you stop feeding their blame cycle, you force them to confront their own patterns, or they'll simply move on to another listener. That's their choice, not yours to control. 2. Eternal victims, the people addicted to suffering. Now let's move to the second type of person Stoicism warns us about: eternal victims, those who are emotionally addicted to their own suffering. These individuals don't just experience pain, they cling to it. Even when life gives them opportunities to heal, grow, or change, they somehow find a way to remain in misery. Stoicism views this as a deep emotional trap. Epictetus once said, "People are not disturbed by events, but by their judgments about those events." Eternal victims are trapped by their own judgments. They are convinced the world is against them, that their suffering defines them, and that they are powerless to change their fate. Here's the subtle danger. They don't openly seek solutions. They seek sympathy and validation for their pain. They may say they want help, but what they really crave is your attention, your emotional energy, and your constant reassurance that they've had it worse than anyone else. No matter what advice you offer, they will find a reason why it won't work for them. They wear suffering like a badge of honor, subtly manipulating others into constantly tending to their emotional wounds. This mindset has been deeply studied in modern psychology. It's linked to learned helplessness, a state where people, after facing repeated difficulties, come to believe they are powerless, even when solutions exist. Research shows that people trapped in learned helplessness reject opportunities for growth, resist personal responsibility, sabotage their own progress, often unconsciously. Helping these individuals often leads to one result. They pull you into their drama. You start spending your time and energy trying to fix their problems, hoping they'll wake up. But instead, they drain you dry, leaving you emotionally exhausted, frustrated, and stuck in cycles of pity and guilt. Stoicism, again, offers a clear answer. Compassion must have boundaries. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you encounter eternal victims, the Stoic response is not cruelty, it's clarity. You can acknowledge their pain. You can offer them tools and wisdom once. But you must never sacrifice your peace to keep rescuing them endlessly. Helping them beyond this point doesn't make you virtuous, it makes you a prisoner of their story. The Stoic lesson here is profound. Sometimes, the most compassionate thing you can do is let others face their suffering alone, so they can either grow or remain where they choose. You're not their savior. You are responsible only for your own mind, your own choices, and your own peace. 3. Takers, the people who only receive and never give. Now we come to the third type of person Stoicism warns us to avoid helping: takers, those who excel at receiving but never give back. On the surface, takers might not seem as harmful as blamers or eternal victims. In fact, many takers appear charming, polite, even grateful, for a while. But underneath that pleasant surface lies a subtle but dangerous pattern. They take, and take, without limits, without shame, and without ever intending to reciprocate. Marcus Aurelius offers a timeless reminder in Meditations. What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee. This means, if something harms the greater community, it will eventually harm the individual as well. Takers violate this Stoic principle. They disrupt the balance of human interaction by consuming without contributing, draining the energy and resources of others to feed their endless needs. Here's why helping takers is so dangerous. They rarely ask for too much at once. They often start with small, reasonable requests: your time, your attention, a small favor, a little advice. But once they realize you're willing to give, they slowly escalate. More favors. More emotional support. More sacrifices, often disguised as, just this once, or, you're the only one I can turn to. You won't even realize you've been drained until it's too late. Psychology confirms this pattern. Studies on parasitic social behavior show that people who habitually take from others without reciprocating cause significant emotional exhaustion in those around them. Helpers in these relationships often suffer from increased stress, burnout, and even depression over time. And worst of all, takers rarely change. Once they've identified you as a giver, they see you as a permanent resource, a well they can keep drawing from. Stoicism teaches a strict boundary here. Generosity is virtuous, but only within reason. Epictetus reminds us, give what you can, but don't let it be at the cost of your own peace. The Stoic way to spot takers is simple. Watch their patterns. See whether they ever offer help in return, not just in words but in actions. Test whether they respect your boundaries when you say no. If they disappear, guilt-trip you, or lash out when you stop giving, you've seen their true face. Helping them beyond that point is not kindness. It's self-sacrifice with no purpose. The Stoic response is decisive. Withdraw your help. Let them face the consequences of their one-sidedness. Focus your energy on people who believe in mutual respect and reciprocal growth. Your time, peace, and emotional energy are sacred. 4. Manipulators, the people who exploit your kindness. Now we arrive at one of the most dangerous types of people Stoicism warns against: manipulators, those who deliberately exploit your kindness for their own benefit. Unlike blamers, victims, or takers, manipulators are not driven by helplessness or neediness. They are strategic. They know exactly what they're doing. Their goal is not just to receive your help, it's to control you. Stoicism holds a strict stance here. Epictetus was crystal clear on personal boundaries. Keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern, and be clear that what belongs to others is their business and none of yours. Manipulators violate this rule by making their business your business, through guilt, pressure, or emotional blackmail. Here's how they operate. They act helpless, creating a false crisis to trigger your compassion. They use flattering words or exaggerated gratitude to pull you closer. They guilt-trip you by saying things like, "You're the only one who can help. If you don't do this, terrible things will happen. I thought you were different from others." Once you're emotionally entangled, they tighten their grip. They make their needs urgent and constant. They pressure you to prioritize them above everything else. They slowly erode your boundaries, until you feel trapped. Modern psychology calls this emotional blackmail, a pattern where people use fear, guilt, and obligation to manipulate others into compliance. Victims of emotional blackmail often experience severe stress, anxiety, and long-term resentment. And here's the harsh Stoic truth. The more you help a manipulator, the more they manipulate. Your kindness becomes their tool. Your compassion becomes their weapon. Stoicism demands a sharp response. Recognize that their problems are not yours to solve. Detach emotionally from their crises. Refuse to act out of guilt or pressure. Marcus Aurelius advises, look inward. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig. This means your peace, clarity, and wisdom must come from within, not from fulfilling others' demands. When you face a manipulator, Stoicism calls for firm boundaries. You can listen once, but never promise help under pressure. You can show compassion, but not at the cost of your values. You must say no clearly, without guilt or long explanations. If they react with anger, withdrawal, or accusations, that's their mask slipping, not your fault. Helping a manipulator isn't noble, it's dangerous. The Stoic choice is to walk away, guard your mind, and let them face the consequences of their manipulation. Your peace is your responsibility, and no one else's. 5. Betrayers, the people who turn against you after receiving help. Now we face the final, and often the most painful, type of person Stoicism warns against: betrayers. These people are the ones you trusted, helped, and even sacrificed for, only to watch them abandon or betray you the moment you're no longer useful to them. Betrayers are not always easy to spot at first. They may seem genuinely grateful. They may even show loyalty for a while. But beneath their surface lies a dangerous opportunism. They see relationships as transactions. Once they've taken what they need from you, whether money, support, status, or emotional labor, they vanish, or worse, turn against you. Stoicism views betrayal through a different lens than most people. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, when someone does you wrong, remember they act according to their own principles, not yours. This Stoic wisdom shifts the focus from anger to clarity. Betrayers reveal their character, not your mistake. Here's the hidden trap. When you help a betrayer, you believe your kindness will protect you from their disloyalty. But Stoicism teaches that this belief is foolish. No amount of help can change the character of someone who prioritizes self-interest above integrity. In fact, helping them often accelerates their betrayal. They may start taking you for granted, assuming you'll always be there. They may begin resenting your generosity, twisting it as a sign of weakness. Once they no longer need you, they may even sabotage your reputation or peace of mind to elevate themselves. Psychology confirms this harsh truth. Studies on toxic relationships show that betrayers often follow predictable patterns. Idealization. They praise you and seem extremely grateful at first. Exploitation. They slowly increase their demands for help and resources. Devaluation. Once they've received enough, they start finding faults with you. Discard. They cut ties or betray you for personal gain. Helping a betrayer repeatedly only fuels this cycle. They learn that they can cross boundaries without consequences. But Stoicism teaches a liberating lesson. You owe them nothing. Epictetus said, when someone shows you their character, believe them. Stoic wisdom here is simple but profound. Never let betrayal turn you bitter or vengeful. Let go of resentment by accepting reality as it is. Withdraw your help and energy immediately after betrayal, without drama, without explanation. Helping a betrayer once may be forgivable. It can happen to anyone. Helping them twice, however, is self-inflicted suffering. The Stoic path isn't about revenge. It's about detachment. Marcus Aurelius advises: reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. This means, the moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim, the power of betrayal fades. Your role is not to punish the betrayer, but to protect yourself from future harm. The Stoic choice is clear. Cut off betrayers silently. Move forward without bitterness. Learn, grow, and guard your peace. You are not responsible for their lack of integrity. You are responsible only for your own self-respect, wisdom, and serenity. The three major consequences of helping the wrong people: Stoic and scientific insights. Now that we've uncovered the 5 types of people you must never help, it's time to face an even deeper truth: the hidden consequences of ignoring these boundaries. Stoicism teaches us that every action has a price, and nowhere is this more evident than in the emotional and psychological cost of helping the wrong people. Here are the 3 major consequences, each one more damaging than most people realize. 1. Emotional and energetic depletion, the slow drain of your inner peace. The first consequence is both obvious and devastating: emotional exhaustion. When you help the wrong people, you enter an endless loop of giving. Giving your time. Giving your emotional energy. Giving your mental space, constantly worrying about their problems. But here's what Stoicism makes clear: your energy is not infinite. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If your thoughts are constantly consumed by others' problems, especially those who refuse to change, you're sacrificing your peace for nothing in return. Helping the wrong people slowly chips away at your patience, optimism, and resilience. You begin to feel drained, even when you're not physically active. Overwhelmed by their constant demands. Numb or detached from your own needs and goals. Modern science confirms this Stoic insight. Psychologists call this compassion fatigue, a state where people, especially chronic helpers or caregivers, experience deep emotional burnout from giving too much. Research shows that compassion fatigue leads to anxiety and depression, difficulty concentrating, insomnia and physical health issues, emotional numbness and irritability. In essence, the more you help the wrong people, the more you lose yourself. Stoicism teaches that your first duty is to protect your mind. Epictetus reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you pour all your energy into others, you become their emotional slave, powerless, depleted, and unable to focus on your own Stoic path. 2. Lingering guilt and psychological burden, the trap of unnecessary responsibility. The second consequence is more subtle, but equally dangerous. Guilt. When you help the wrong people, you often enter a psychological trap. You feel guilty when you say no. You feel responsible for their suffering. You feel anxiety when you cannot fix their lives. This guilt isn't noble. It's a sign that you've internalized their problems as your own. Stoicism is brutally clear here. You are not responsible for others' decisions or outcomes. Marcus Aurelius advises, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others. Be concerned with your own conduct." The danger of this guilt is that it becomes addictive. You start helping more just to ease your guilt. You neglect your own life to maintain your self-image as a good person. You grow resentful, but still feel trapped in obligation. Psychologists call this codependent behavior, when people become psychologically attached to fixing others, even at their own expense. Research shows that codependency often stems from low self-esteem and an excessive need for approval. Over time, this creates chronic anxiety, identity loss, emotional instability. Stoicism offers the antidote. Detach from the outcome. Epictetus said. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. When you help others beyond your reasonable control, you are stepping outside your domain, and you will pay the emotional price. Stoicism teaches that real freedom comes from accepting this boundary, without guilt, without apology. 3. Loss of freedom and autonomy, becoming a prisoner of their needs. The third consequence is perhaps the most dangerous of all. You lose your freedom. Stoicism places supreme value on autonomy. Freedom of thought, freedom of action, and freedom of choice are at the heart of the Stoic life. But when you help the wrong people repeatedly, you unknowingly sacrifice these freedoms. You begin rearranging your schedule around their crises. You hesitate to make decisions without considering their reactions. You avoid pursuing your goals out of fear they'll accuse you of abandoning them. In time, your entire life becomes entangled with their needs. You become a prisoner, not of their physical control, but of your emotional attachment to their problems. Stoicism teaches that this is the ultimate loss. Marcus Aurelius warns, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." If you let others take control of your mind, you have no retreat left. Modern psychology supports this Stoic wisdom. Studies on toxic enmeshment show that people trapped in emotionally controlling relationships experience reduced self-confidence, decision paralysis, loss of identity and purpose. The more you help these people, the more they tighten their grip, and the harder it becomes to break free. Stoicism offers a radical, yet liberating solution. You must reclaim your freedom. Epictetus reminds us, "No one is free until they stop worrying about what is not theirs to control." This means learning to say no, without guilt. It means reclaiming your time, your thoughts, your peace. Your life is your responsibility, not theirs. Closing reflection, your peace is worth protecting. Helping the wrong people doesn't just cost you time or energy. It costs you your peace of mind, your emotional clarity, your very freedom. Stoicism isn't about abandoning compassion. It's about protecting your ability to think clearly, live freely, and grow peacefully. Next time you feel pulled to save someone, ask yourself, am I helping from wisdom or from guilt? Will this help empower them or enslave me? Am I protecting my peace or sacrificing it? Because once your peace is gone, everything else soon follows. The Art of Helping the Right Way, Stoic Guidelines. After exploring the dangers of helping the wrong people, you might wonder, does this mean we should never help anyone? Absolutely not. Stoicism is not about coldness or isolation. It's about disciplined compassion, helping others in a way that uplifts both them and yourself, without sacrificing your peace or wisdom. Here's the Stoic way to help others, without regret, guilt, or exhaustion. 1. Help only those who are truly willing to change. The first Stoic principle is simple but powerful. Help only those who demonstrate a genuine willingness to change. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." In Stoic terms, this means focusing your energy where it creates real value. Helping someone who has no desire to grow only leads to frustration. Before offering help, observe. Are they taking responsibility for their life? Have they shown any effort to improve before asking for help? Are they asking for guidance, or simply seeking rescue? Stoicism teaches that self-responsibility is the foundation of any true change. If someone lacks it, no amount of external help will make a difference. 2. Provide practical aid without emotional attachment. Stoicism also advises that help must be practical, not sentimental. Epictetus said, "When giving, do not expect anything in return, not even gratitude." This doesn't mean you must suppress all emotions. It means you should offer help from a place of reason, not emotional neediness. Stoics help others by offering clear advice, concrete resources, solutions they can apply on their own. But they do not tie their identity or self-worth to the outcome. If the person succeeds, good. If they fail, that's their lesson to learn. Your job is to offer the help wisely, then let go. 3. Set clear boundaries and never overextend. One of the most crucial Stoic teachings in helping others is this: know your limits, and respect them. Stoicism teaches that everything in life has a natural boundary, including your energy and resources. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, limit yourself to the present. This means you must be clear about how much time, energy, and resources you're willing to give. Communicate your limits calmly and firmly. Never feel guilty about saying no when those limits are reached. Helping beyond your healthy boundary isn't compassion, it's self-harm. 4. Apply the dichotomy of control, the ultimate Stoic tool. The core Stoic tool for helping others wisely is the dichotomy of control, knowing what's within your power and what's not. Epictetus emphasized this repeatedly. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. When helping others, always ask, is there growth within my control? No. Is offering help within my control? Yes. Is there reaction or gratitude within my control? No. Is maintaining my peace of mind within my control? Absolutely. This mindset liberates you from guilt and attachment. You help because it's right, not because you expect a particular outcome. Example application: knowing when to step back. Let's say you have a friend who's struggling financially. The Stoic approach: you offer practical advice on budgeting or finding work. You may lend a reasonable amount of money once, within your boundaries. You calmly explain that you won't enable repeated requests. If they take your advice and change, that's their growth. If they ignore you and fall deeper into problems, that's their choice. Either way, your mind remains peaceful, because you've acted with wisdom, not guilt. Stoic closing insight: true compassion empowers, not enslaves. Helping others, when done the Stoic way, becomes a path of growth for both sides. You practice wisdom, generosity, and restraint. They face their own responsibility and freedom. Remember, you are not here to carry others through life. You are here to walk your path with clarity, and help others only if it strengthens both of you. That's Stoic compassion, powerful, rational, and free from regret. Stoicism and compassion with limits, the final awakening lesson. By now you've seen how Stoicism approaches the act of helping others, with caution, wisdom, and fierce self-respect. But here's something most people misunderstand. Stoicism isn't about becoming cold or heartless. It's about compassion with limits. 1. Stoicism embraces compassion, but only with wisdom. Many people wrongly assume that Stoics reject emotions altogether. That's false. Stoicism teaches that emotions are natural, but they must be guided by reason, not impulse. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote, kindness is invincible, but only when it is free from hypocrisy and self-interest. This means true Stoic kindness comes from strength, not weakness. Helping others isn't about seeking approval, feeling superior, or fearing rejection. It's about offering what you can, without damaging your own peace, clarity, or freedom. Stoic compassion does not rescue people from their own choices, does not enable self-destruction or dependency, does not tolerate manipulation or betrayal. 2. Compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. There's a harsh truth in life. Not everyone deserves your kindness. Some people will exploit it. Some will drain you dry, then discard you. Some will use your goodness as leverage against you. Stoicism doesn't tell you to hate them. It simply tells you to accept reality as it is, and act accordingly. Epictetus said, "It is better to die of hunger with distress and fear gone, than to live in plenty with the mind troubled, always complaining." This doesn't mean rejecting kindness. It means prioritize peace over pleasing others. Prioritize wisdom over emotional reflexes. Prioritize self-respect over blind compassion. 3. Self-preservation is not selfishness, it's responsibility. Here's a perspective shift. Protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's your duty. If you constantly give beyond your limits, you won't just harm yourself, you'll lose the ability to help anyone else meaningfully. Marcus Aurelius advises, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are filled with resentment, regret, and exhaustion from overhelping, you're corrupting your own soul. Stoicism teaches, give only what doesn't compromise your inner peace. Offer help without attachment to the result. Walk away the moment your compassion turns into self-harm. 4. The ultimate Stoic awakening, letting others face their path. The hardest but most freeing Stoic lesson is this. Sometimes, the most compassionate act is to let others walk their own painful path, without interference. Why? Because struggle is often the only way people grow. By always cushioning others from their mistakes, you deny them the chance to develop wisdom, resilience, and independence. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, just as nature takes every obstacle, every impediment, and works around it, turns it to its purposes, incorporates it into itself, so too can you turn every obstacle into fuel. Helping others isn't always about removing obstacles for them. Sometimes, it's about letting them face those obstacles, so they can rise stronger. Closing reflection, choose wisdom over impulse. Compassion, in the Stoic view, must never be blind. It must be deliberate. It must be limited. It must be free from attachment. Remember, you are not obligated to carry everyone's burdens. You are not responsible for saving people from themselves. You are only responsible for your own peace, integrity, and wisdom. This is Stoic compassion at its highest level, kind but clear. Open-hearted but firm. In the next and final section, we'll summarize these lessons and leave you with a Stoic message that will stay with you forever. Now you understand why Stoicism draws such a clear, unwavering line when it comes to helping others. It's not about being cold. It's not about rejecting compassion. It's about protecting your peace, because everything else in life depends on it. Let's recap the Stoic lessons from this journey. Helping the wrong people will drain you. Some people will never change, no matter how much you sacrifice. Your energy is finite. Guard it wisely. Not everyone deserves your help. Blamers, victims, takers, manipulators, betrayers, each one pulls you away from your own growth and freedom. Stoic compassion requires wisdom. Help only when it's aligned with reason, not guilt or impulse. Detach from the outcome. Let others face their own choices. Your peace is your highest responsibility. Without it, you cannot think clearly, act wisely, or live freely. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." You are that cliff. You are that unshakable mind. Don't let the crashing waves of others' problems sweep you away. Stand firm in your wisdom. Let your compassion flow, but only within your limits. This is the Stoic truth that no one tells you, but it can transform your life forever. If this message truly resonated with you, subscribe now to True Stoic Mindset and grow stronger, wiser, and calmer every single day. Tap the bell icon to never miss a new video, each one crafted to sharpen your mind and deepen your Stoic mindset. Like, share, and comment below. Which lesson from this video struck you the most? What Stoic topic or question would you like us to explore next? Your journey toward true peace and inner freedom begins here. Let's keep growing together, calm, strong, and unshakable.